Tēnā koutou katoa. Welcome to this week's video newsletter. We're at level 2 and today we've had our staff back at school getting ready for the week ahead. And today I'm joined by just about everyone from the Wellington College Senior Leadership Team, and we're each going to talk about little different aspects about getting Wellington College ready for alert level. I think it goes without saying that one of our biggest battles is going to be with public transport. So I've got the Associate Principal, Dave Ashby, here, who is going to talk to us a little bit about what the latest situation is with the buses and what we're recommending for our students next week.
Hi everybody. Look, I'm so sorry this is such an issue for parents, and I understand the complications regarding the Metlink's desire to protect their own bus drivers. But with a 40% loading on the buses is a major problem for all the schools in Wellington. For us, I can only suggest that parents try their best to come up with what the bus company calls a plan B, and that's to make an effort, I suppose, to carpool and get parents to bring them to school. For us, that would mean you need to drop them off at the bottom of the drive or somewhere in the city. At the end of the day, we will load the buses as best we can with the maximum number allowed, but there will still be hundreds of students that won't be able to get on the buses in the afternoon. So again, parents have got a bit of a problem there, because if they walk down the bottom of the drive and try and catch public transport, the same issue will happen, and they'll be in competition with adult passengers who have the same restrictions on those buses. So look, it is a difficulty for families. We have made provision for our seniors to be able to bring their cars to school, and at the moment we've got nearly 45 of our seniors. Some of them bring in their brothers, some with full licences and are able to bring 2 or 3 passengers. That's one alternative, but for the rest of them, I think really parents are going to have to encourage them to either walk to school or make arrangements by carpooling and getting them to school that way. I'm sorry it's like this, and I'm hoping that we're not in this situation for too much longer when we get back to normal and get those buses loaded. All right.
We'll have some enhanced cleaning and hygiene practices at Wellington College under level 2, and we'll also have some new routines in order to ensure that we're all safe. And I'll ask Dave Ashby to also talk to us about those 2 issues.
Well, as the principal mentioned, we, like all schools, have a real challenge to enhance our cleaning routines. It's one of the key issues for all organisations, but for a school such as ours, which has a very, very big campus which is vastly spread, we would have on a normal school day up to 1,900 people on site. So one or two of the things to go over with you is that we have employed extra staff to help us manage those high touch areas, and that will start on Monday as your sons come to school. We have cleaning regimes to improve what's happening in the classrooms, such as cleaning the desks and the keypads and all of those things. We are looking at the physical distancing of students, so we have a one-way system, and also managing some of those high intense areas on the college where a lot of the students transfer through as they go from class to class. We're letting our young juniors out 5 or 10 minutes early for every period so they can clear the halls before the bigger guys get out. And so there are a number of things like that we are really working hard on to try and improve, if you like, the general hygiene of the school. All of those basic routines will continue to reinforce but enhance the whole hygiene issue in the school by making sure your sons are safe, the place is clean, and that we're able to move them around the college in a safe way. And one of the other things we need to do is make sure that we keep our students safe. The boys won't be very happy with this decision, but we want them to stay on site. And like most schools, I think we won't allow them to go off-site for lunch and interval and during their study periods. That will annoy them, I understand that, but it's critically important, I think, that we make sure that we know where our boys are. They bring their lunch and their water bottles to school, and they stay with us on site. While they're under our care, we need to make sure we can look after them. The other issue, of course, is students that are bringing cars and motorbikes to school. They will be parking on the bottom ground, and again they won't be allowed out with those vehicles during the school day. Then parents can be assured that again they're under our care and we're looking after them.
So one of the key principles for fighting coronavirus at Alert Level 2 is really accurate contact tracing. So Daryl is our systems deputy principal, and I'm going to ask Daryl to talk about the way in which contact tracing is going to work at Wellington College.
Contact tracing here at Wellington College will not be too dissimilar, as students will be marked present when they are physically sitting in those class spaces as per the timetable structure. We plan for the worst but educate for the best. And what I mean by that when it comes to contact tracing is to encourage all personnel coming on site to log in at reception. It would be fair to say if you're dropping off your son and you remain in your car, there's no need at all to sign in. We have got the mechanisms mentioned on our website, how as parents you can contact the school if your son is not going to be attending for a particular day or a particular week, and that's absolutely fine. Still, the same absence calls need to be made if your son is ill with a cold and things like that. That will allow us totally to have wonderful lists of accurate information that in the worst case scenario, and we do have a case of COVID, we can supply that material very, very quickly and they will get in contact.
So Phil Bergen's our Deputy Principal in charge of wellbeing, and Phil, we're going to get you to talk a little bit about what's planned for the first week to support students' wellbeing as they come back to school.
We're certainly coming to school on Monday with the philosophy that we need to engage at the wellbeing level, and we can't really teach anything until we've looked after the wellbeing of our students. We're very aware that our students have had various experiences in their bubble and in lockdown, and we need to talk about some of those experiences, and we're going to do that through a variety of means over the week. And first off, we will have tutor time, and it will be an extended tutor time, and in that time we are going to ask the tutors to re-engage with the students, to talk about their experiences, to talk about some of the highs and the lows. Also during that time we are going to have an assembly that's going to be beamed in from the AGC, where Gregor and Matua Jono are going to talk to us about some of the messages that are important. We're going to have a mihi whakatau, and we're really looking forward to sending some of those centralised messages to all the students. We will then have our normal periods 2, 3 and 4, and we'll ask the teachers to just take things a little bit lighter over that time. At the end of the day we will probably also have Gregor again streaming into us from his office or the AGC. For the rest of the week we are going to have opportunities for year level assemblies. We will have time for peer support and for the meetings of some of our groups during that week. Finally, we've set aside a space at school where if some of our students are just really having too many concerns or can't quite cope with what's going on at school, we will allow these students to spend time with some of the staff from the pastoral care team, and we look forward to welcoming all the students back next week.
Katie Rawls is our Teaching and Learning Deputy Principal. She's going to talk to us about what's happening in the classroom, what's happening in our learning programs as we transition from level 3, learning at home, to learning back at school.
Kia ora koutou. Look, we just really like to take this opportunity today to say thank you. Thank you to all of the teachers for the hard work getting our Learning at Home program up and running in a really short space of time. And also a huge thank you to the students for the work that you have done to adapt to a whole new way of doing our learning. Would also like to make a particular thanks to the prefects and the student council for their input and feedback into how we are going to transition from level 3 to level 2. One of the key priorities for us for next week is that it's a week to catch up. It's about catching up with each other, and it's also about figuring out where everyone is at with the work that was done during the Learning at Home program. So we want to reassure you all that it's okay. Wherever you are is okay, and we'll meet you where you're at, and we'll support everyone to get caught up with the learning that we have been doing. We're aware that some students might not be able to come back yet, and that's okay too. While we can't run our full Learning at Home program as we have been for the last 6 weeks, we will be able to make some resources available online for those of you that might need to stay home for any reason. The other thing that we are going to continue for the next couple of weeks is the cold check-in, just as a way to keep a monitor on engagement as we return to school. and that will be a way for parents to just keep an eye on how things are going as well. So I guess what we want to say is we're really looking forward to seeing you. Wherever you are is okay, and we'll look forward to seeing you all back on Monday.
Andrew Savage is our Deputy Principal who looks after curriculum. He's also the person that does our liaison with the New Zealand Qualifications Authority. And he's going to update us a little bit on the latest to the changes for the National Certificate of Educational Achievement, the NCEA, which have been brought about because of COVID-19.
Kia ora whānau. I'd like to reassure you today about NZQA and NCEA qualifications. You will have noted in the messages from the Minister recently that the NCEA exams have actually been had their dates changed. We now have 10 extra days of teaching before the exams, so they'll be now running from the 16th of November through to about the 9th of December, where students will be able to have just a little bit more time in class before they hit those exams at the end of the year, which is fantastic. I'd also like to reassure you that NCEA is such a flexible qualification that students are going to be able to come back to school and navigate with their classroom teachers and their departments pathways towards achievement, which will be giving them the best chance of success this year. NCEA, remember, is about getting 80 credits at each year level, and for those people in level 2 and level 3 qualifications, they can take through 20 credits from the year before to help towards those 80 credits. So just remembering that people shouldn't be anxious. If you can get your 80 credits, you can get your qualification.
We know that a lot of our students and staff and parents are eagerly awaiting the return of extracurricular activities. We're still waiting on some guidelines from national organisations and bodies about that, and we want to make sure that we can do that in a really safe way, but we do know how important these things are to our community and working on plans to restart that as soon as possible. It won't be in the first week, but we will certainly be in touch about when we can press go on those really important things. So just finally from me, just a few things just for students to be really thinking about over the weekend and ready for Monday. The first one is you need an alternative way of getting to school if you normally think about public transport. So you need a plan around that. You need to bring your drink bottle because we're turning off all the water fountains here for health and safety reasons. It would be a great idea if you've got one to bring a little bit of hand sanitizer. We'll be giving it out at the beginning of each class, but if a student wants to bring their own, they'd be really welcome to do that too. And because students will be staying on site and going off site, it's really important that they bring enough food to get them through the day. And I guess finally, it's been a bit of a theme for our whole nation over this time. It really is a time for kindness, for consideration, for giving people space and being flexible in the way that we approach things. So let's all be kind to ourselves and to each other as we come back to Wellington College. We're really looking forward to having our students back. It's not the same here at all without you today. And we'll be back in touch and tell you how it's gone this time next week. Ka kite.